Welcome to Wounded Healer Tarot. My name is James, and I'll be doing your reading today. This particular reading is for the sign of Taurus. Now we're going to take a look at what energies are currently influencing you, and then after that, I'll do my general 9-card tarot spread. Alright, let's see. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Alright, so at the bottom of the deck here we have the protagonist. Curiosity, drive, motivation. And then under that we have the dance, representing trust, body, and catharsis. Now, to me, this all really speaks of I get the vibe that you're needing to really trust your intuition here, connecting with your body movement, right? And maybe you have a certain curiosity here about a particular spiritual practice here that has to do with the body and movement. So maybe you could be curious about Reiki, or you could be curious about how movement affects the body, how movement can be very cathartic in a sense. Alright, now for the actual oracle spread here. First up we have the gardens, representing a pause, safety, and secrets. Ooh. Let's see. This may take me a moment to find in the book because there's no glossary type area. I don't believe that the pages are even numbered. So let's see. Excuse me. Alright, so in its awakened state, it represents pause, safety, and secrets. And in the shadow state, it is representing haste, danger, and gossip. The gardens represent safe spaces and people with whom you can share your secrets. In this special place, you feel welcomed by calm, acceptance, and beauty. Often in our story, we need a place to retreat to when things get difficult, or even just when we'd like a moment of rest. You don't have to worry about much in the gardens. You can be who you truly are. Every aspect of our personhood and experience does not need to be shared with others. Tend to your secrets, keep them close. Share them only if you truly desire. In shadow, the gardens cease to be a safe haven, and instead warns us of possible danger. We may be in a situation we wish to flee from, and you might be right to do so. Sometimes our secrets are revealed by others without our consent, and they put us at risk. Do whatever you can to escape or mitigate the reaction. Even gossip that's not dangerous can still be distressing when we're the target. If you're the one who's been gossiping, reconsider your motivations. Questions to ask. What does my safe space look like? Where is it and how do I access it? Do I need a break or a pause in life? What secrets am I currently keeping for myself or others? Who are my secrets safe with, if anyone? Am I rushing through things? Am I in an unsafe situation? Have I been contributing to or been the subject of gossip? Well, that was a bit loaded. And interestingly enough, the next card up, the next card rather speaks to communication and clarity as well as manifestation. So, in a sense, I get that this could be relating to you in the shadow aspect. It really stood out to me where it says, we may be in a situation we wish to flee from, and you might be right to do so. And then with the questions, right, it says, what secrets am I currently keeping for myself or others? Who are my secrets safe with, if anyone? Am I rushing through things? Am I in an unsafe situation? Have I been contributing to or been the subject of gossip? I feel like there's a lot of self-evaluation here. I feel like you are working to find safe spaces and people with whom you can share your secrets. Now, how that resonates for you is going to be, different from others. So whether it's the shadow or the awakened state is more particular to you and your situation. All right, now as I said, next up we have the Four of Ink pen, representing manifestation, communication, and clarity. In its shadow state, it represents miscommunication, uncertainty, and obscurity. The description of the card reads, the Four of Ink is the pen, the tool with which we take our thoughts and turn them into words that exist on the physical plane. Understanding what it is we want to say is the first step in making our desire or message come true. Words, images, sign language, body language, and other forms of communication are powerful tools for letting others know what we're feeling and thinking. It allows for understanding and collaboration. It's important that our communication is clear and effective if we want the best results and the least conflict. Awaken, this card suggests a need to get your message out into the world, or to specific people, however that works for you. It may also represent the act of writing in particular. In shadow, our message becomes garbled and misunderstood. This may stem from a lack of skill in the communicative arts, or from uncertainty. It's difficult to relay a message if you aren't even sure what the message is. Vagueness, dense, and difficult wording, or plain nonsense are indicated by the Four of Ink in shadow. Questions to ask. What do I want to manifest in my story right now or in the future? How can I communicate that desire to myself, the universe, and others who can make it come true? How can I be clear in my messages to others? How can I express myself clearly? Have I possibly miscommunicated my intent or desire? Am I uncertain of the message I want to send? Is my message vague or difficult to understand? Now, what really stands out to me here is, have I possibly miscommunicated my intent or desire? Which to me speaks a lot to the part of this card that was talking about gossip, whether you're the one contributing to it or, you just overhear it. And, I feel like there's a need to understand, what you want before communicating it. Like, you can't just really, go about this sort of communication, off the cuff. This is something that really requires your, intentional thought and direction. Right. I feel like, with this protagonist card, it gives me the vibe that there is somebody else that is involved here in this story. And this could very well be an individual who's gossiping, or maybe even pulling you into gossip, whereas it's like, you were, like, you may not be one to gossip, but you may be around this individual a lot, and they have the tendency to gossip, right? So indirectly you get involved in the gossip because they are there, gossiping to you, telling you everything. And you may even unknowingly contribute to the gossip. Alright, now to get into the tarot portion. Let's see. What does Taurus need to know at this time? What does Taurus need to know at this time? Alright. 1, 2, 3. Okay. We got that King of Wands out there. First card out, strongest energy. Interesting. There's definitely some sort of uncertainty about something here. Alright, so at the bottom of the deck here, alright, the cards at the bottom of the deck so far, like the past 2 readings really, because I've only done the collective and then Aries before you, so this is the 3rd reading, but there's been a lot of messages in the cards at the bottom of the deck. But yeah, so firstly here we have the 5 of Pentacles. And then we have Strength. And then we have the Knight of Pentacles. Now, I get the vibe here that you've sort of been planning your way back towards somebody. Because with the 5 of Pentacles, that represents being, left out in the cold, right? I feel like you disconnected with somebody. There was probably some sort of conflict here. And with Strength to the Knight of Pentacles, I get the vibe that you're really, during this time apart, I don't know, I'm not getting any particular, timeline as far as, how long you guys have been apart. But I feel like, you've been planning your way back to them. And it's been taking quite some time. And nextly we have the 2 of Swords. With the Devil. And Death. Excuse me. So, I feel like even though you've been, planning your way back to this person, when you do go towards them, it's gonna sort of feel like you're taking a shot in the dark here. Because with that Two of Swords to the Devil, right? I feel like you've been working on healing, toxic aspects of yourself. Because with this Two of Swords, right, this decision that you're having to make, I feel like you're making it blindly, right? You're just taking a chance here. It's like this Two of Swords also sort of gives me like full like energy. And then with the Devil here, and then the Death card, I feel like you're making big changes in your life. You're, you know, weeding out any sort of toxicity before you go towards this person. And that's what's gonna, with the Page of Cups being the last card at the bottom of the deck, right? I feel like that's what really, creates this environment for you, this mindset where you feel ready to bring an apology towards this person. Maybe you were dealing with an Aries, maybe, an Aries is who you're going to be going towards with this apology, because there was something about an apology in the Aries, and I believe also the collective reading. So if you want to, take a look at the collective reading afterwards, I feel like there may be some messages in there for you. But regardless, so first up here we have the King of Wands. And then we have the Page of Wands. With Judgment. Now, I definitely feel that you're in a much more authentic energy. You're coming from a much more authentic place of self, right? Where you're better able to genuinely express yourself in, whichever way you decide to do. So, my words are being real weird today. But then to have that Page of Wands with Judgment, right? I definitely get the vibe here that you're really trying to like start over, start something new with somebody. Maybe like with Judgment, you're trying to like wipe the slate clean, so to speak, as you go back towards an individual that you had a falling out with here. And I feel like a part of that, right, was because you weren't really, like, you were not in this King of Wands energy. You may not, have been being yourself, which, makes any connection really difficult. Maybe you were, like, operating out of a place of letting others influence you, and, the things you do, the things you say, the person you commit your time and energy to when it comes to love. And I mean, honestly, I feel like these people who are, influencing you, guiding you, they were jealous. That's why they led you away from this individual, because they could actually see how good for you they were, and they probably felt like, you wouldn't need them in your life after that, because they probably, like, I feel like this is the kind of person that's kind of like the embodiment, the human embodiment of like a tower moment. This person, because of their authenticity and how genuine they are, they really tend to illuminate the darkness in others, and that could be very triggering for them. And so, like, people will do what they can to sabotage this individual and keep them out of, the life of somebody that they want to keep around them, because then they probably, started thinking about, well, if this individual starts to recognize these things in them that they're starting to recognize just by being around them, what is their friend or, the person that the other individual is with, aka you, starts to see this in them as well, and then you don't want to be around them anymore. You want to spend more time around this other individual because they're healthy. They influence them in a positive manner. They influence you to operate more authentically. And then they would feel like, they don't have control over this individual anymore, because they'll start thinking for themselves and doing for themselves, and that will not benefit them whatsoever. Excuse me. Now, next up, we have the Magician. With the Seven of Wands. And the Hanged Man. Now, I get the vibe here that, as you realize, right, you have everything that you need to do what it is you would like to, right? Especially when it comes to this particular situation with this particular individual, you're no longer being defensive, you're letting your guard down, because you have this new perspective here with the Hanged Man, and you're realizing there are some sacrifices that you need to make before you could go towards this individual. And I mean, more often than not, when you're operating out of such an authentic energy, you will have to make sacrifices. You're going to have to, sacrifice people, places, and things that they themselves are not genuine. Because at that point, you guys are no longer, energetically compatible. But yeah, like with this Magician energy, right? I feel like you're starting to understand how energy, the universe, spirituality, things like that work. And that's what, has you realizing that you actually can do this. Honestly, you can do anything you put your mind to. And that's going to make it easier for you to pursue these things, because if you're pursuing things while in a place of being defensive or having your guard up, you're not going to get exactly what it is you want out of those situations, because you're not operating authentically, you're not operating to your highest ability out of your highest place, right? You're operating from a place of lack as opposed to a place of abundance. And I feel like that's what's really causing this change in perception here. Once you realize, you are actually abundant, you have these skills, tools, and abilities that you've been looking for in others, that you may even have been jealous of in others, wishing that you had. Now lastly here, we have the King of Swords. Justice. And the Nine of Cups. Hey, hey, hey. Are you a siren? Huh? Whoops, that would actually be the Nine of Pentacles. Anyways, with this King of Swords, right? Well, first off, you have both the King of Wands and the King of Swords out here. I get the vibe that you're in a very, masculine energy, but more of, a healthy masculine energy, right? Because you're you're acting, you're speaking out of a place of genuine authenticity. You are being 110% you. You are expressing yourself in every whichever way you feel you would like to, despite what others may think or how they may feel. But with this King of Swords, you're really you're laying it down, right? You're letting people know what you are and are not willing to put up with at this point, which is really not a lot. Like, if they're going to be toxic, if they're going to be shady, if they're going to lie, gossip, do things behind your back, you're letting them know right away, I'm not dealing with that. That's it. And then with Justice to the Nine of Cups, like, you're definitely realizing what your true wish fulfillment is, what it is you really genuinely want. And now with Justice, right, I feel like this could be a situation like that's very karmic in a sense. Like, I feel like you and this individual were put into each other's lives so that you could sort of like unlock this in each other, right? Because honestly, all relationships are a mirror to or of the self, right? And when you realize who you are, and you're then able to, act, speak, exist even out of that authentic place in the self, things get so much easier. And it's really like, for example, coming forward with this apology, right? Once you realize that this individual is who you genuinely want, then it's not going to be difficult to come forward and give this apology. It's actually going to probably be one of the easiest things you've ever done, because you already know what to say, because this is what you want, as well as the fact that, you've been taking your time and planning to get here. There's been a lot of change. You've had to make a lot of tough decisions. But at the end of the day, you're going to feel like it is worth it. Because now you sort of like, I don't want to say you live without fear, but maybe more so you live without the fear of what others think of you. You may live without, having to deal with people projecting their own shit on you. You may, just feel so much better operating out of a place of independence here. With both Judgment and Justice, again, like, I feel like this is a very karmic situation. All of this was meant to happen at this time in the exact way that it's happening. It may not be pleasant, but more times than not, change is not pleasant. Like, you see here, like, this is a storm of brewing, right? But storms, conflict brings change. Chaos brings change. And now when you're in that toxic energy, when you're letting others influence you, you're not able to see the things going on around you. You're not able to see the chaos that all of this is causing. But at the end of the day, you don't even need to take the blindfold off. Use your intuition and you will realize what is and is not for you, and that'll make it easier for you to choose a direction in which to go. You take your time to plan things out. You have the strength to move forward in your authenticity. And that will get you out of the cold. More than likely, this person will welcome you back with warm, open arms. Because at the end of the day, what most people want when it comes to these sort of situations, they just want you to be real. They just want you to be honest. They just, they want you to be you. Because, when you're genuinely connected to somebody on like a spiritual level, like, they can sense when you aren't being yourself, when you're not operating out of the self and you're more so operating out of, the thoughts and views and perceptions of others. Which is very, in my personal opinion, that's very unattractive. That's very unappealing. me personally, as an Aries, as a very spiritual individual, I would like somebody who is comfortable with themselves, able to be themselves authentically. And, sometimes communication will be a little harsh, but that's just because, people are passionate. People, feelings are intense, okay? And more times than not, they can be very overwhelming. But we all have the ability to learn how to communicate better. And something that will especially fuel something like that is if you care, right? Is if you genuinely give a shit about another person and having them in your life. But, Taurus, those are all of the messages that I have for you today. I do hope they serve you well. Be gentle with yourselves, and I'll see you again soon. Bye-bye now.